वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, second chapter, the Lord in the Heart, text number 6 onwards. So Shukdev Goswami is further speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Evam svachitte svata eva siddha atma priyo artho bhagwan anantaha tam nirvritto nitartho bhajeta sansar hetu parmascha yatra. Thus being fixed, one must render service unto the Supersoul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency. Because he is the almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited. He is the ultimate goal of life, and by worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. So thus being fixed means in the previous two verses, Shukdev Goswami was stressing on the sannyas ashrams, means one should not even bother about his own maintenance. He should be fixed up in surrender, in his faith on Krishna, that Krishna will protect. And then when he is fixed, one must render service unto the Super Soul. Because here, Shukdev Goswami is still not talking about the pure devotion service unto Krishna. He is still going with the, slowly he is going up. First he is talking about the meditation part and the Hatha Yogi part. And situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency, means he is so omnipotent. Krishna is, or the Almighty, Super Soul, whatever you want to call it, he is so potent that he can situate himself in anybody's heart. That's his potency. Because he is the Almighty. So two times Shukdev Goswami is referring to the potency. And again, as an omnipotent or as Almighty, he is quite capable of protecting or providing for his own devotee, for a person who's gonna do yoga, or who's left everything for him with full faith in him. He's quite capable. He's quite potent of providing and protecting that person. He is the ultimate goal of life, and by worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. So what is the cause of our conditioned state of existence? Is our desires. So by worshipping him means we dovetail all our desires in his service and remembering him. So then there is no other conditioned state of existence. I mean, there is no other cause for us to be here. So let's see what Prabhupada says. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 1861, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the all-pervading, omnipresent Super Soul. Therefore, one who is a yogi can worship him only because he is a substance and not illusion. Every living creature is engaging in the service of something else. A living being's constitutional position is to render service, but in the atmosphere of Maya or illusion, or the conditional state of existence, the conditioned soul seeks the service of illusion. So it's our those Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nitya Das. So our Swarup, or means our constitutional position, is to serve Krishna eternally. But when we forget our position that I am a soul, when we identify ourselves with the body, so the service part has to be there. So we start serving the body. We start serving the body, or the byproducts of the body, or things that are related to this body. Because ultimately we have to serve. Serve in the sense could be taking care of somebody else, but then we are serving the country. Prabhupada, like Prabhupada says, a conditioned soul works in the service of his temporary body, bodily relatives like the wife and children, and the necessary paraphernalia for maintaining the body and bodily relations, such as the house, land, wealth, society, and country. But he does not know all such renderings of service are totally illusory. So this service is completely illusory. It's in Maya. Means it has no permanent result. As we have discussed many times before, this material world is itself an illusion, like a mirage in the desert. In the desert, there is an illusion of water, and the foolish animals become entrapped by such an illusion and run after water in the desert. Although there is no water at all. But because there is no water in the desert, one does not conclude that there is no water at all elsewhere. The intelligent person knows well that there is certainly water in the seas and oceans. But such vast reservoirs of water are far, far away from the desert. One should therefore search for water in the vicinity of seas and ocean and not in the desert. Every one of us is searching after real happiness in life. So basically, this is what we want. That's why we take up so many services, means taking care of the family or other things. Because ultimately, by serving them, by taking care of our family, I get some pleasure. Person gets some pleasure that I have this family who will be there, who will give me comfort, or who will talk to me when I'm alone, or whatever, or who will look after me when I'm sick. So this and just taking care. I mean, it gives a pleasure. Makes a person having somebody he can say, oh, this is mine. So it gives some pleasure to the heart. Every one of us is searching after real happiness in life. Actually, we are searching after real happiness, but we don't know where to find it. Namely, eternal life, eternal or unlimited knowledge, and unending blissful life. But foolish people who have no knowledge of the substance search after the reality of life in the illusion. This material body does not endure eternally, and everything in relation with this temporary body, such as the wife, children, society, and country, also changes along with the change of the body. This is called samsara, or repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. So in this life, just like we discussed that example of movies, so every movie when it changes, there is a different set of relatives, friends, enemies, everything changes. It's all temporary. So similarly, our lives in previous life, just like people suppose in this life, we are we think Pakistanis are our enemies or some other communities are enemy. Oh, it might be possible that in previous life we were born in Pakistan as a Muslim. There is every possibility. So that time we were hating Indians and Hindus. And now we are Indian body and Hindu body and we are hating Pakistanis and Muslim bodies. It's all temporary. Soul actually has nothing to do with all this. But with the association, with the upbringing, with our sanskaras, with our whatever we can call it, we just impose all these things on our mind. And actually, in our consciousness, we just impose everything. And then we start acting like I'm Hindu, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm Indian, I'm Pakistani, I'm Chinese. Chinese say I have to fight for China. American says I have to fight for America. Indian says I have to fight for India. Pakistani says I have to fight for Pakistan. They'll keep on fighting. Without realizing the India, Pakistan, China, America was there before we were born, and it will be there when we die. And we might go here and there, but those countries will remain as they are. So what's the point in fighting, trying to protect my this thing and that thing? What's the point? It's all temporary. Our so much time of our day we waste in so many worrying about so many temporary things, and we really waste. Although Chanakya Pandit says, even a second of time, moment of time wasted cannot be brought back by spending millions and millions of dollars. He said millions and millions of gold coins. It is right. But we are so charitable. We just give it all away. Okay, you have come here. I'll give half an hour away just like that, or 1 hour is gone just like that. We are so charitable, actually. We give away all this valuable time and the energy and the opportunity that we get as humans to make advancement towards self-realization. We just give it up. We just give away. Okay, you take half an hour, you take 2 hours away from me, no problem at all. It's all wastage. We would like to find a solution for all these problems of life, but we do not know the way. Herein it is suggested that anyone who wants to make an end to these miseries of life, namely repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must take to this process of worshipping the Supreme Lord and not others, as is also ultimately suggested in Bhagavad Gita. If we at all want to end the cause of our conditioned life, we must take to the worship of Lord Sri Krishna, who is present in everyone's heart by his natural affection for all living beings, who are actually the parts and parcels of the Lord. The baby in the lap of his mother is naturally attached to the mother, and the mother is attached to the child. But when the child grows up and becomes overwhelmed by circumstances, he gradually becomes detached from the mother. And although the mother always expects some sort of service from the grown up child and is equally affectionate toward her child, even though the child is forgetful. Similarly, because we are all part and parcels of the Lord, Lord is always affectionate to us and he always tries to get us back home, back to God. But we, the conditioned souls, do not care for him and run instead after the illusory bodily connections. And they are illusory, they are just Maya, full of Maya. We must therefore extricate ourselves from all illusory connections of the world and seek reunion with the Lord, trying to render service unto him because he is the ultimate truth. Actually, we are hankering after him as a child seeks the mother. And to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we need not go anywhere else because the Lord is within our hearts. This does not suggest, however, that we should not go to the places of worship, namely the temples, churches, and mosques. Such holy places of worship are also occupied by the Lord because the Lord is omnipresent. For the common men, these holy places are centers of learning about the science of God. So these holy places, the temples, churches, mosques, are centers of learning. So means those places should have should have classes on the science of God. When the temples are devoid of activities, the people in general become uninterested in such places. And consequently, the mass of people gradually become godless, and a godless civilization is a result. Such a hellish civilization artificially increases the conditions of life, and existence becomes intolerable for everyone. The foolish leaders of a godless civilization try to devise various plans to bring about peace and prosperity in the godless world under a patent trademark of materialism. Because such attempts are illusory only, the people elect incompetent, blind leaders, one after another, who are incapable of offering solutions. If we want at all to end this anomaly of a godless civilization, we must follow the principles of revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and follow the instructions of a person like Srila Shukdev Goswami, who has no attraction for material gain. So we are working for illusory happiness, illusory positions, illusory everything actually. Only truth is soul and the soul's relationship with Krishna. That's only truth. He is the ultimate truth. He is the absolute truth. We are minor truth, but it's all truth. Rest everything is temporary. That's why it's called asat. So this asat, it becomes so prominent in our lives that we cannot think of anything else. Of course, it doesn't mean we don't take care of our responsibilities. It doesn't mean we run away from our responsibility. That's not what it means. All it means is we have to do the responsibility, but first of all, our biggest responsibility or our eternal responsibility is towards Krishna. So that responsibility, if we carry out properly, then we'll definitely carry out the other responsibilities of the relationships properly. So we have to take care of family. If wives, husband, kids, parents, we should serve them. This is responsibility given by Krishna, but in a detached way. Yes, real attachment is towards Krishna, and with my relatives, real attachment should be on the soul level. Yes, bodies have to be taken care of, but the real attachment should be towards soul. That Krishna has somehow given me responsibility of this soul, and I have to make sure this soul is comfortable in this house, and if we can help this soul make progress towards achieving his or her part of self-realization, that'll be great. But other than that, we have to detach ourselves from the situations and look at the situation from away, just keeping us away from that. Then we'll see it's all nonsense. Whatever is going on, it's all nonsense, nothing else. There is no truth and there is no real pleasure in anything on this world. Text 7. Kastam tvanadritya paranuchintam mrite pashun satim nam kuryat pashyan janam patitam vaitaranyam swakarma jan paritapa jushanam. Who else but the gross materialists will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as a consequence of accruing the results of their own work. So only gross materialists, gross means who are totally engrossed in material life, they will neglect the transcendental thought and take to non-permanent names only. Temporary names, they will take to that. In the Vedas, it is said that persons who are attached to demigods to the exclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like the animals who follow the herdsmen, even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse. slaughterhouse. The materialists, like animals, also do not know how they are being misdirected by neglecting the transcendental thought of the Supreme Person. No one can remain vacant of thought. It is said that an idle brain is a devil's workshop because a person who cannot think in the right way must think of something which may bring about disaster. The materialists are always worshipping some minor demigod, such as, although this is condemned in Bhagavad Gita, as long as a person is illusioned by material gains, he petitions the respective demigods to draw some particular benefit, which is, after all, illusory and non permanent. The enlightened transcendentalist is not captivated by such illusory things. Therefore, he is always absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme in different stages of realization, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the comparison is made between gross materialist and the transcendentalist. So materialists, they're always after temporary things. So for that, they worship demigods by which they get some power, position, money, wealth, something, some opulence, which they want to enjoy for a while. But understand, not knowing that this is all temporary and it will end soon. So Prabhupada is giving the example of animals who follow the herdsman, even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse. So the goats in particular, are like that. So they just keep on following the other goat who in front, and they do see the goats in the front are getting slaughtered, but they still keep on following, and they also get slaughtered. But the transcendentalist, they always, um, he's always absorbed in thought of the Supreme in different stages. In the previous verse, it is suggested that one should think of the Super Soul, which is one step higher than the impersonal thought of Brahman, as it was suggested in the case of contemplating the Virat Rupa of the personality of Godhead. So, thinking or meditating on the Super Soul is a step higher than thought of impersonal Brahm Jyoti. And meditating, or not just meditating, but serving the Supreme Lord as Bhagwan, that is the highest, that is topmost. Intelligent persons who can who can see properly, may look into the general conditions of the living entities who are wandering in the cycle of 8,400,000 species of life, as well as in different classes of human beings. It is said that there is an everlasting belt of water called the river Vatarni at the entrance of the Platonic planet of Yamraj, who punishes sinners in different manners. After being subjected to such sufferings, a sinner is awarded a particular species of life according to his deeds in the past. Such living entities as are punished by Yamraj are seen in different varieties of conditioned life. Some of them are in heaven, some of them are in hell. Some of them are Brahmins and some of them are misers. But no one is happy in this material world, and all of them are either class A, B, or C prisoners suffering because of their own deeds. So no one is happy, even if somebody is in heaven, he's not happy. He's not absolutely happy over there. Some relative happiness is always there. That's why the jiva, he remains in the material world. He gets some relative happiness or very infinitesimal happiness. Being here, or even if a person who has nothing, no money, no opulence, nothing, is sleeping on the roadside, but if you ask him, how is he doing? He'll say, oh, I'm fine. Even if a person is in hospital and he has, Prabhupada has given this, he has tubes all over his body, all through his body. And if you ask him, how are you doing, sir? And he say, I'm fine. What kind of fine is this? If a person on the roadside, if he's begging and he has so much of disease, He cries to get some money, to get our sympathy and money. But if he is really suffering in that position, he should rather change that position. He can go somewhere and do something to make the situation better and be happy, but he doesn't want to change. This Maya captivates us so much. There is no one, but no one is happy in this material world. Only just flickering happiness or a glimpse of happiness we get, and we think I'm something. I'm really happy. This material world, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he has made it dukkhalayam. It's a place of misery. But only a person who has his eyes open can see the mysteries of life. Even if, and even to the materialist, Krishna gives opportunities to see the miseries of life again and again, especially at the time of death of our near or dear ones or our relatives. We do see that this whole world is temporary, and whenever we go for some kriya or somebody's uthala or something, oh, Panditji says, or whoever is saying, see, we come with the arm, with the fist closed, and when we leave, everything is here. We leave the world with the fists open. But still, how long those words stick to our brains, stick to our minds? Not for too long. And then once we are, nowadays, even when we are there, the phone started ringing and we are tending to our business as usual. But the idea is that to understand this material world is place of misery, and even if it is place of misery, it is still temporary. It's not permanent. So why we get attached to this place? Why not be attached to the eternal place where life is full of happiness, not just happiness, bliss, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing and taking the classes. The hard-hitting truths are being revealed now.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Actually, hard-hitting truth, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for enlightening us and giving
Thank you,
very
Prabhuji.
valid examples as well, Prabhuji. Highly in depth.
Okay. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna. How can we get more and more attached to Krishna? I mean, though we feel that we are attached, but I'm talking about myself, but I'm not. But how can I improve that bond?
Well, the process is chanting, service, and association of devotees. So in chanting also comes hearing and reading about Krishna, association, and physical service. These three things are very, very, very important. And that's how, once we start getting more and more affinity for chanting, more affinity for service, more affinity for we look for the association of devotees, means we are making advancement.
But sometimes, like, there are occasions when you don't want to, do certain thing. Like, say, for example, like in the office, what we have a half an hour discussion on Bhagavad Gita session. Sometimes we don't feel like going, but like I don't know, internally it has happened with me so many times that you get that push from inside. Ki, okay, you have to go, and you go. So I mean, is it that we are going out of our interest, or what is it?
See, there are again different stages of doing some service. In the beginning, it would be like I'm forced to go. It's my duty, that's why I'm going. Of course, nobody is paying you to go, so that part is gone. And then there is I have to go, and then there is I want to go, then there is I love to go. It depends on us. So idea is, the point is slowly, when we start, keep on going still, even if we don't want to go. And if Radha Prabhu is calling and we keep on going, so point is slowly, we get cleansed, we get purified, and then we start getting the taste. Rupa Goswami has given this example in Updeshamrita that if somebody is suffering from jaundice, anything sweet he tastes, it tastes very bitter. But the medicine of jaundice is to keep on taking the sweet. So slowly, the taste will come back. So the classes or the association or the service will feel like, it's bitter, I don't want to do that. It has no taste, I don't want to do this. But if the intelligence still pushes us and we keep on going slowly, we will develop the taste. It will come. But then again, there is no competition with anybody. Bhakti is not about competition. So we make progress on our own pace from wherever we have started. Everybody's starting point is different. So we make progress at our own pace. So this is not about competition, it's about service. And it's about transformation of our heart, nothing else. Okay, so I guess we can stop here.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Wonderful answer,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Bhakti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare